A man walks into the most luxurious restaurant in Beverly Hills, wearing secondhand clothes and carrying a past the world refuses to forget. Eli entered Lumière with shoulders slightly hunched, dressed in weathered jeans and a clean but faded button-down. The light from the crystal chandeliers refracted across polished wine glasses and diamond earrings, but he walked quietly, unnoticed by the glamour surrounding him. He asked for a table. Before he could finish his sentence, a waitress narrowed her eyes and smiled with condescension. "Are you sure you're in the right place, sir?" she said, twisting that last word like a knife. Other diners chuckled. They didn't know his name. They didn't know his story. But they were about to. Lumière wasn't just a restaurant. It was a runway for the rich and envied a shrine to aesthetics and unspoken class codes. Ashley, the head waitress, was its high priestess. Hair pinned into a severe bun, lips painted the color of crushed velvet, eyes sharp as the edge of judgment. To her, people like Eli, people who looked like him, were intrusions, interruptions, mistakes in the script of perfection. She gestured for him to follow, walking with brisk, mechanical steps. Instead of leading him to a table kissed by golden light, she took him to a forgotten corner near the kitchen. The air was different there, harsher, less forgiving. "This should suit you," Ashley said, smiling like a blade. Eli just nodded. "Thank you. I appreciate it." He didn't flinch when she dropped the menu with a thud. Didn't react when she smirked and said, "You do realize this isn't a diner, right?" Instead, he calmly asked for the filet de Rossini, the most expensive item. She laughed under her breath. "It's $350. Just making sure you know what you're doing." Eli looked her in the eye. "I do." Ashley stifled her disdain with a false smile and scribbled down the order. But her next move wasn't to the kitchen. It was to the center of the dining room, where she chatted with a couple she deemed more appropriate. She laughed at a stranger's joke, delivered a cocktail that wasn't hers to carry, and walked past Eli's table 3 times pretending he didn't exist. He sat still. Not bored, not agitated. Just present. A man used to being tested. A nearby elderly gentleman watched. He wore a navy suit and held his wine glass as if it were a relic. Finally, he approached. "Good evening, young man. I hope you don't mind me interrupting," he said, his tone gentle. "I've noticed you've been waiting quite a while." Eli smiled, warm but reserved. "Evening. Don't worry. I'm fine." The old man nodded. Sometimes patience reveals more about us than pride ever could. Before Eli could respond, Ashley reappeared, her voice overly sweet. "Can I help you with something, sir?" The old man glanced at her calmly. Just sharing a few words with someone who seems to understand grace. Ashley waved him back to his table, thinly veiled irritation painting her every word. Later, when she delivered Eli's main course, her hands were swift, her tone cold. "Here it is. I hope it's not too sophisticated. We can always adjust it to something more affordable." Eli responded gently. "It looks excellent, thank you." She leaned in closer. "Are you sure? It can be a lot for someone not used to this kind of place." "I'm sure. Thank you for your concern," he said, without sarcasm. At the bar, Ashley sneered to a coworker. "He's playing polite. Bet he doesn't even know what he ordered." Her coworker, visibly uncomfortable, said, "Maybe he just wants dinner, Ashley." She scoffed. "With those boots? He doesn't belong here." Whispers stirred among the guests. A woman nearby said, "She's awful. He's been nothing but kind." Another replied, "It's disgraceful. Someone should say something." Still, Eli remained calm, still eating, still steady. Ashley returned, placing the coffee he requested down with exaggerated care. "You know, it's hard to maintain standards when just anyone walks in," she said loudly, glancing around for support. The dining room began to shift. Attention turned. An older couple whispered, "She's humiliating him." A suited man muttered, "There's something off here." Ashley leaned over again. "Enjoying your experience. It's interesting to have different kinds of people here. Adds some flavor to the atmosphere." Eli looked up, quiet but firm. "Different? What do you mean by that?" Ashley faltered. "Oh, don't take it wrong, it's just we usually cater to a more traditional profile." The dining room fell into silence. That's when the manager appeared, his presence sharp, authoritative. He walked quickly to the table, eyes scanning the tense scene. Then his face changed. "Mr. Brennan," he said with a mix of panic and awe, "I didn't know you'd be visiting tonight." Ashley paled. "Mr. The manager turned to her, stern. "He is one of our co-owners." Eli stood, finally letting the full gravity of the moment unfold. "Let's talk about how we treat people," he said. Ashley stammered. I didn't know. I thought he..." "Thought what?" the manager snapped. "That someone who doesn't fit your idea of elegance doesn't deserve respect." Eli spoke again, voice resonant but never raised. "You shouldn't need to know someone's name to treat them with dignity. And for the record, I wasn't always Mr. Brennan. I've walked into places where even my identity was questioned, where I had to defend my existence before I could ask for a menu." The room held its breath. "I transitioned 10 years ago," Eli said, voice unwavering. "And still, the hardest thing to walk through isn't doors like these. It's the eyes waiting on the other side." Gasps, then stillness. This place was meant to welcome everyone. That was my vision when I helped build it. But today I was reminded how far we still have to go. The manager turned to Ashley, quietly furious. "I want your explanation after your shift. For now, stay away from this table." She fled, eyes on the ground. Eli sat again, exhaling softly. He looked around the dining room and spoke one final time. "We all wear something invisible when we walk into a room. A fear, a past, a truth we hope won't be questioned. Sometimes just sitting down is an act of courage. So when someone walks through your door, welcome them. Not because they're famous, not because they're wealthy, but because they're human." And the room, for the first time that night, applauded. As he left Lumière, the city lights reflected in his eyes. He walked into the Beverly Hills night not as a man who owned a piece of luxury, but as a man who had reclaimed something more powerful. His story, his presence, his place. Because in a world obsessed with appearances, the quiet insistence to simply be is the most revolutionary act of all. And for anyone who heard that story and remembered his name, Eli Brennan left them with one truth. Kindness isn't about what you see. It's about what you choose to honor anyway.